Gary's already on. Hey, Gary.
Hi there.
Welcome aboard. Oh my goodness.
Thank
How
you.
you
Thank
doing
you.
today?
Great. I've been really looking forward to this.
Awesome. Same here. That's a good feeling.
Oh yeah.
So you're not nervous or anything, right?
No.
Good. I always ask so I could know exactly how to start,
Mhm.
because if people are nervous, then I have to tell them that it's just a regular conversation, like you talking to your friend.
Right. Yeah. No, I've gotten used to live streaming thanks to Twitch and also on here as well. So now I'm pretty good with it.
Yes, 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 yes. Okay. So we're going to wait for a few to actually log on.
Okay.
They're going to be straggling in very shortly. But meanwhile, I'm going to let everybody know that right now it's 8 p.m. and Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have the Martine Show on Instagram live, okay, every Tuesday and Thursday. And tonight we're having Gary Dankdaze, who's going to be talking about his favorite love, which is the cannabis industry, okay?
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about everything CBD today, so please be sure to come through if you have any questions. If you want to learn, if you want to become informed, become more aware about what cannabis is all about, how you can heal with it, what you can find in terms of how you can utilize it to your best interest. Gary is the guy. He'll be able to help you out with many of those different questions that we're going to go about with today. And just to let you know, the Martine Show, it's a self-love journey, basically. We get into self-awareness. We get into self-development, as well as speaking anything that is social, near and dear to the interviewee. It's all about the interviewee, okay? So it's their time, and I'm the facilitator, Martine Mayas, who makes it happen on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we're here with Gary Dankdaze. Everybody, please welcome Gary aboard.
What's up, everybody?
Gary is super talented, I would say. I've been watching him for a little bit. I mean, I'm more of those like quiet fans, but I be watching you, Gary.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. That's for sure.
I'll be watching you. So go ahead and introduce yourself. Let everybody know
Um,
who you are, or we take it from there.
yeah. Hi, my name is Gary. I go by Gary Dankdaze. A lot of you guys know me from the platform Rizzle. I also have a YouTube. I have a TikTok that started blowing up a little bit, and of
Yes.
course, Instagram and Twitch. I am a very big advocate for the cannabis industry as far as recreational and medical aspects of that plant. I also am a photographer, so
Mhm.
I love to capture images from landscape to candid shots and everything in between. So, but yeah, that's just a little about myself there.
Nice, nice, nice. So, the biggest thing everybody wants to talk about is all about CBD. So we're gonna go
Hmm.
right into it right
Right.
now. Let us know, how did your interest spark for the cannabis industry? How did you start in it?
Well, I mean, it's not that I don't, I mean, don't necessarily condone this, but I was uh, in high school and somebody was like, "Hey, you want to hit this?" And I'm like, "Why
Yeah.
not?" Don't condone, but I will say that that was the first time, and
Hmm.
then once I got as an adult. Uh, yes, Dwayne. As an adult, I started doing more research into the cannabis indica and cannabis sativa plants because they are two very different and distinctive strains of the cannabis plant. And then the more a lot of my research was actually coming out of California because California, a lot of people don't know this, has been medical since 1996.
Yes, I know that.
And that's where a lot of the research for that was coming out of, like UC Berkeley, UCLA, and so I mean I had an interest in it because I wanted to learn what I was putting into my body.
Very good.
um, and I suffer from PTSD and anxiety, and I can say that versus the pharmaceuticals to the cannabis plant, I will choose the cannabis plant because at least then I'm not. I feel like I'm a complete zombie when I'm using the pharmaceuticals. Like I'm just existing. I'm not living. And I agree, GQ. GQ said your hair looks magnificent and great as usual.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, fellas. Appreciate it.
So when I started learning about this, I did start learning about the healing properties or the medical properties of the cannabis plant. There's CBD, CBG, CBN, as well as Delta 9 and a few others. And those different chemicals within the cannabis plant actually contribute to different things on a medical level. Now, I will say this. As much as I advocate for the cannabis industry, I do advocate safe use. And there are certain mental health conditions that people with those conditions, the cannabis plant can cause negative effects to them.
Interesting point. Interesting point. I like that.
So I'm about responsible use, that's
right.
for sure. So definitely you need to know, or have an idea of how you're going to react in the first place, especially if you, I believe one is if you are a diagnosed paranoid schizophrenic. There are some strains that make regular people paranoid. So when they might work, they're great for the physical attributes of the physical pain in the body, but some people get a slight case of paranoia. People with paranoid schizophrenia, it can take it and trigger them to a whole level of bad in their mental health. So there's those types of things. Of course, people with COPD can't be smoking or vaping, but then I would say take a look at the edibles, because they have those options now. There is CBD and THC infused bath bombs now. So
yeah.
so there's and creams and tinctures, topicals. There are ways to medicate holistically with cannabis other than just smoking it. And I tell people, do your research. Don't even just listen to me. Do your research. Ask doctors. Google for yourself. The information is becoming more readily available. As I believe, January 1st, 2001, we have a total of 15 states plus the District of Columbia, the Northern Mariana Islands, and Guam that are recreational. We have over 21 states and 3 additional territories that have become medical in the United States right now. Out of the rest of them, I believe there's an additional 5 that have decriminalized cannabis. So the people are realizing that, hey, maybe the propaganda that was put out in the 60s was just that.
Well, it's with every drug, per se. And it's with a lot of, it's with every drug. There's always propaganda around it. And because there's also a lack of research. That lack of information that's also available at a certain time period, Back then, obviously, there was less information. So people didn't really know how to utilize it only just one way, which is like, smoke it or whatever. And back then, a lot of it was illegal anyway. But the thing about it is that I like the fact that you do your research, which is number one. I love the fact that you're very much in tune with the different doses, the different types, because I'm being in healthcare administration, I know pharmacology and I've been exposed to doses. And because of my personal history with women's health, primarily fibroid, I had to dabble into a lot of holistics in order for me to be here today. Okay, it's no lie, it's no secret. All right.
Right.
So because medically speaking, pharmacology, what's in the drugs, don't allow you all the time to be well. And we know that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like you're sick, you are to become sicker so that you could get more drugs and
Yeah.
they make more money on you. I mean, in a nutshell, that's really what it's all about. Okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
It's not about healing. It's about prolonging.
Right. So my thing is this, I got into this whole healing thing because of what happened with my condition.
Right.
And I dabbled in so many different products. And I remember like when I did try, it was a CBD capsule, right? They have these little
Hmm.
capsules. Um, I don't remember, like at that time, I don't remember the company name or anything, but I remember when I did take it, it was like my very first time. Like I was totally messed up. Like it didn't resonate
Yeah.
with me. Okay.
Right.
I was like, oh my God, I'm getting sicker. And the thing about it, I had anxiety, really bad anxiety back then. So my anxiety just went through the roof, like even worse. But
Right.
the funny thing about it now is like after a few years of that experience, and then a friend of mine was is actually a distributor for a company that has CBD products. And she
Nice.
was like, try it. And I told her, well, I've tried it before, but I had a bad experience. I don't know if I'm going to do it now, but I wanted to support her. So I
Hmm.
did get one of her products, and it's actually capsules, right?
Hmm.
And I got it at the beginning of like the COVID
Yeah.
situation back in March. And when I did get it, I was a little leery to even try it. I mean, I had my mom try it first, and I was just like, you let me know how you feel about it.
Right.
My mom was like, it's good. And then when I finally did take it, I was fine. I didn't
Yeah.
have an issue at all. So I think depending on the company, as we stated, when you do research, depending on the company and
Hmm.
also what they lace it with, because there are other ingredients inclusive to it
Yes.
as well.
That's a
And
lot of people don't realize that. Well, so okay, when you have now, sorry, nowadays with the FDA in a lot of states, they have to come in see the process from growing to harvesting, or so cultivation, harvesting, packaging, everything.
mhm,
Um, that's when things really began to become safer
mm,
with cannabis because a lot of times street use and there are a few CBD companies that are operating right now, which the FDA is watching them
yeah,
because
yeah,
they don't have the proper licensing, the proper setups, and what happens
mhm,
is they want to rush to put product out there. Well, when you rush to put product out there, you're not making sure that it is meeting the safety standards for your
mm,
consumers. Um,
okay.
with like back in the day, I'm gonna go back in the day when I was in high school. Okay, so back in the day,
Good.
when it was illegal. Like I said, I
Yeah.
don't condone this, but when it was illegal, I'd go and get me a quarter or a dime bag or something like that, and some smoking was great. Other time I was smoking, I would just get this horrible, horrible headache. And what
Mm,
I learned from doing the research is the times when I was getting those horrible headaches, those individuals during the cultivation process, um, they don't flush out the growth chemicals, the steroids, the high levels of um, potassium and things like that that are great for the plant, but will make certain people who are more sensitive to those, feel sick, have massive
absolutely.
headaches, and you actually have to. They should when you're cultivating, the last 2 weeks should be nothing but just H2O. Because it helps flush the rest of the chemicals that they've used to build those massive plants
Hmm.
out of the system, out of the plant, and then after that, it even goes to the drying stages of how you disassemble the plant and drying
Mm-hmm.
it in various stages, because they do release more out from the flower. And now, thankfully, that the FDA is getting involved and they're checking these processes and making sure that they are doing this. A lot more people aren't having. They're like, yeah, I don't have those issues anymore that I go to the dispensary. Yeah, yeah, because they will get shut down if they do
Mm.
that wrong.
Wow.
Um, like I
Wow.
know in California, um, to get a cultivation license in California right now, you are looking at over $1 million just for a cultivation license. That's not a dispensary license. That's not a license for a dispensary. That's just cultivation, just growing it. That's
Mm-hmm.
over $1 million in California. In Florida, where I'm currently at, it's a medical state.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the cultivation and for a dispensary license, there was a company that tried to purchase from the state a dispensary license. The state of Florida said $50 million.
What? Wow.
Now, I here's my issue with setting the bar that high. Who are you allowing in?
Yeah.
You're allowing big business and large pharmaceutical companies who have that kind of money, that want to get in on the green rush now, who don't
Mm-hmm.
really care about their customers because they've been pumping out products for the past 100+ years that isn't there to heal them. It's only there to cure certain symptoms
Mm-hmm.
of the illness, and that's my issue. Actually, I'm kind of happy about this. There is um, two gentlemen who are African American gentlemen. They actually fought the state of Florida and won their
Mm-hmm.
case because they said the cost of entry is too high, and they are purposely trying to shut smaller businesses out from coming in. And when and those and the smaller businesses have been proven to care more about their consumers than big business and pharmaceutical companies in the past, and they actually won their case in the state of Florida. So
Wow.
yeah, and I think that's awesome, because now we're
Yeah.
not, setting the bar of entry so high that only those types of big corporations can come in.
Mm.
Um, and 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 I mean, anytime you get, in my personal opinion, you get massive big business and things, then it's all about the profit margin and not about the consumer.
Right. I have a very interesting comment that I need to highlight here. Um, my friend Christina, happy belated birthday, Martine. Thank you so much, my love. I so appreciate you. Thank you. For those of you who didn't know, yes, I celebrated my birthday, and my birthday was on the 16th. So
Oh, well,
thank you.
happy belated birthday as
I did
well.
I did say thank you to each and every one of you guys who
Yeah.
contacted me on my Facebook page, but I really don't do posts for my birthdays, but I do appreciate everybody who sends me love, and you get an answer from me instantly. By all means, I answer everybody individually. That's my thing, but I do appreciate everything. Okay. Let's see. So we got a lot of people in the room here. Let's acknowledge
DC, GQ, Ricky,
Joseph.
Joe,
Yes.
yeah.
Christina's in the room.
Dwayne,
Dwayne Hurt.
yes,
He
yes.
is one of the avid the Martine Show fans. And who else?
Jason was in here, I think. I think he still is,
Yes,
right?
Jackson is in the room as well. So I love
Ken,
everything
yeah.
that you stated. I love everything that you stated. You know, I'm so happy you're so informed in this. Oh my God. Like I could talk to you for a long time. I'm so happy. The thing about it is is that, like you said, people have to be very, very careful.
Hmm.
Okay. Very careful with holistic medicine, because it's medicine.
Yeah,
And
it is.
that's something that I learned. I mean, thank God I have a background in healthcare, but my thing
Right.
is that, I had to be very cautious, especially when, you know, when you are sick, like when you're in an ill position, you're in the case of being desperate. That's number one,
Yeah.
especially if you're in chronic pain. And I was one of those people where I was in constant pain year after year,
Yeah.
just dealing with anemia, dealing with muscle spasm, arthritis,
Wait, so
dealing with,
I'm sorry to interrupt. You were anemic
yeah,
for a while,
severely,
yeah.
severely.
Actually, Cannabis Indica has recently been doing studies actually over the past 5 years in
Mm,
Colorado with people
okay.
who are anemic, and the indica plant, the CBD variant, the CBN variant that's in the cannabis indica plant, has actually been acting like an artificial B12, and helping people with like their blood cell replacement, and also it's helping them to retain. So when they eat like red meat and things like that, retain more of
Mhm.
those iron levels, and stuff in their body as well. So I wanted to share that with you. I think that was
Awesome, awesome.
yeah,
But I'm glad I'm not anemic anymore. And the reason
yeah,
why I was anemic back then, my condition was so bad, is because I had fibroid tumors, and those
oh
tumors, what they do is for survival, they suck on blood.
wow, yeah,
So no matter what I took, it's like my levels will never stay, like they'll never
mm,
be stagnant, they'll never stay high, because I had these tumors constantly just like sipping blood, sipping blood.
wow,
So
yeah,
once I was able to, well, finally, one doctor was just like, okay, I'm going to give you the operation, which was the removal of those tumors.
mm,
Then I started to go get some relief. But in order for me to be stable and come to like the normal state of not being anemic anymore, like I had to build it up. And that's how I
mm,
got into holistics, to continue my healing process post surgery,
right,
until I became stable and where like I don't have to worry about anything anymore.
right.
Like I don't even have to take an iron pill, which is
I,
awesome.
that
But
is really awesome.
it's
Yeah,
yeah, but it takes building.
yeah,
Okay. It takes building. And some people think that, just because you go to surgery, that's a fix. No, it's not. It's an alteration.
yeah,
Okay. The fix is your lifestyle. What are you going to do afterwards? How are you going
yeah,
to maintain? What are you going to adjust in order for you to feel better, be better? Because it alters, like when you're anemic and you're going through so many different things and you're in chronic pain, it alters your mental state. You don't think clearly. You don't configure clearly. You don't understand. You're not swift. Okay.
right.
You're slow. All right. And people don't understand that. People think like being slow is some sort of like, a dysfunction in terms like you're either disabled or you're retarded or whatever. No, it could be like your levels are very low. You're not
Yeah,
eating, you're not proficient, you're not eating properly, you're not eating the right food. And of course, back then, I didn't eat as well as I did now. You know,
right.
right now, I don't eat processed foods. I eat
That's
cooked
awesome.
foods.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
constantly doing stuff so that I can eat. But before, yeah, I ate out a lot. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? So it has its P's and Q's, and that's what people need to understand. You know what I mean? Health
yeah,
is really what you do with yourself, what you put in your system.
yeah,
And I
definitely.
have some people. Another thing I want to mention: I have some people who, they eat badly in general, right? But the thing about it is, they're like, oh, I'm going to take some CBD pills, and I'm taking that CBD and all that. Like, okay, what do you think it's going to do for you?
Yeah,
Because it's like you're just putting a band-aid on
yeah,
whatever is, bad.
yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely,
How
absolutely.
effective do you think what you're doing is going to be for you?
Right. Yeah. If you're, I mean, yeah, it's like, I mean, I, I like the whole adage of, people who say, well, I'm on a diet, and so they get Diet Coke. but they go and they've gotten the triple cheeseburger, the extra large fry, and the large Diet Coke because they're on a diet. I was like, how is that really helping there?
Exactly. You know, and don't get me wrong, like my adjusting, my change of lifestyle didn't happen just like I didn't just wake up one day and just cut everything off. It was gradual. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You have to learn. One thing I learned is that you have to learn substitution. You know,
Yeah.
you have to learn substitution. You have to find exactly the equivalent of whatever it is that you're consuming that you love so much, and see
Mm-hmm.
what's the equivalent in terms of a healthy version of it.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and so and that works.
For
You know,
myself, I know that because like when we first scheduled this interview, I was in Oregon on the other side of the country. Now I'm in Florida, so it was kind of the traveling a lot that me and Nini we were always eating fast food and stuff like that. Where I'm definitely going to start switching gears more now that we are down here in Florida to cooking and things like that, because definitely, one, I love to cook, and two, it's so much healthier and better than constantly getting the processed foods and things like that. And I'm a big guy, but I love vegetables. I love food, and that's my issue.
Who does it though? Who does
Right.
it?
I love all the foods. So, but yeah, no, it's definitely, it's very important to keep track of what you're putting in your body, from everything, from your food to your medications that you're using. And I think there's a lot of people that just want to, oh well, I trust my doctor because that's my doctor and they went to school for it. And they're
I used to be
human
there,
though.
trust me.
Yeah, they're human and they can still make mistakes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me tell you, you have to be connected with your mind, body, and soul. Okay. Your spirit. You have to connect. And once you connect, trust and believe, your intuition will let you know exactly. Even if it's a doctor that is telling you, take this, do that, your intuition will like give you the red flag and be like, no. It has happened to me several times, and that saved my life. It really did. You know, because there was a point where because of the chronic pain and constant complaining by me because I was in so much pain. There was a doctor that was literally prescribing me cancer medication. Okay, like a pain reliever that is specific to cancer patients.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if I was not wise, I would have taken that, and who knows what it could have done to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's how deep it could be. And you know what? There are a lot of people who fall into that category. First of all, I happen to be in healthcare and I know pharmaceuticals, so it's a whole different ballgame for me. I'm well versed when it comes to the whole, medical industry. All right. I could speak their jargon. I could understand what they're saying. You get what I'm saying? That's another issue when you go to the doctor, is that the way that they speak, 90% of the time, people don't understand because they speak it in a way where they're speaking to their colleague. It's not everybody who could just okay, I could rock with that.
Like, excuse me, I didn't go through 12 years of medical school.
Exactly. It's not everybody that can deal with that. But at the same time, I was just, lucky enough to know, when you're on a mission, this is what I call it. When you're on a mission, God puts you on a mission, you're put in the right position at the right time for a right reason, I understood everything and I was able to be like, no, I'm not doing that. Yes. Okay. I'm doing that. And you want me to do this? Why? You know what I'm saying? I have the confidence because you know what? It's going in my system. And if I have to come back to you, and complain, well, it's on me. So I need to be clear and concise as to what you're telling me to put in my system.
Yeah,
but everything is not as bold as that,
That's true. That's true. And it's there definitely. I personally feel there needs to be some kind of a overall medical reform in this country, not just for. Uh, First of all, I think medical in this country should be free for every citizen of the United States.
Absolutely.
Period.
We're the only
I mean,
country in the U.S. that doesn't
we're
have free
and we're the
medical.
wealthiest
Okay.
country in the world.
Yeah, but we're capitalist country too.
Yeah, I know.
That
That's
explains it all.
so. I would love to side note that real quick. I love it when people are all like, "Oh, well, that's socialism. That's socialism. That's socialism."
No, it's capitalism.
Right, right. I'm like, no, no. We
It's
live in a
making
cat.
money, baby. It's all about
Yeah,
the money.
yeah. It's exactly. Yeah.
Cash, baby, cash. Bring in the cash. Okay.
Yes. Um, I would like to say, that this is a little side note from the cannabis industry, but I'm looking forward to tomorrow, January 20th, where President-elect Biden and VP Kamala Harris, where she becomes the first African American and Asian woman to be vice president of the United States. And I'm looking forward to that because they have both talked previously about complete taking cannabis off of the Schedule One substance list completely, and at least on a federal level, moving that to, say, a Schedule 2, because a Schedule 2 then says, oh, this actually has some medical benefits, versus a Schedule 1 being there with meth and heroin, where it's like no medical benefits to this. I do look forward to that. That is for sure, and I think that the country is moving in the right direction with those two.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that's your social issue, and you know that
Yeah,
we always
yeah.
take in the social issue from the interviewee. To tell you the truth, I'm right with you on in that position. Tomorrow for me will actually be the first day of the new year for me. Seriously,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
that's when the new year starts for me. Moving forward, and one thing as citizen law-abiding citizens, what we need to do is to hold our officials accountable.
yes,
For us to do
absolutely.
our work, okay,
Hmm.
as a community. Your thing is about the cannabis. That's where your heart is. You need to participate in those activities
Hmm.
that are community based within the area that you're in.
Yeah,
So that you can be closer to the table. So like that, you can voice your opinion as
yeah.
somebody who is not only experienced, but you well informed as well. And you're also going to bring in awareness to that table. You get what I'm
I,
saying?
and I would just like to say that I would completely support a platform of GQ 2024. Just saying. Um,
GQ, you heard?
I was joking with him the other day about that. But yeah, no, you're, and I think that should be. I think that should be for anybody. I don't. I think that here in the United
Absolutely.
States,
It's for everybody, all of us.
yeah, in the United States, so many people have become complacent, and then once every 4 years is when they want to form a political opinion. But politics happens every single day, and
Absolutely.
if you're not staying up and informed on the things that you care about and the things that you want to see a change in your government, which would affect your day-to-day life, then
Absolutely.
you have to stay up to date on those things.
Yeah.
And I will probably dance tomorrow after I know that 45 is no longer in office. And I think I heard something today that he's actually left DC
He has.
completely.
He
Yeah.
has.
Well,
Yeah.
even better. So I just, yeah, and I mean, I respect everybody's political opinion and who the candidate for which they wanted and things like that. It's just for myself, my morals align more with currently President-elect Joe Biden, and I truly believe that the next 4 years we can see a lot of good change happen in this country.
Yes, we have a lot of rebuilding to do, I must say.
Absolutely.
We have a lot of work at stake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, a lot of restructuring. However, the opportunity to be able to have the opportunity where we can have a platform that is inclusive to all is what I am really looking towards and really hopeful for, you know, and that is what I believe that's the direction that we're walking into, you know, and knowing that the government, it's not just about the authorities of representation, but it is also about the people, because without the people, these authorities have absolutely nothing to do. You know, they ride on what the people request. And that's the reason why, like, within our community, we have to make sure that we do our part. And it happens on the local level.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. The New York is she a senator now or representative? But Alexandria Cortez. She said, she said that politics shouldn't happen to the people; it should happen for the people.
It's always been that way. That's the way it is. But the thing about it, many people. Well, this is the thing. You don't want to accuse people, because the issue with politics is that it's never really been taught. Civics education needs to come back into the schools. That's number one, because that's where you will learn about community. Okay. That has been removed from the educational system a while ago. Okay. I mean, I know of it because I took a specific sideline course, which was separate and distinct from school, that I just wanted to learn about community, because my family's always been in community. My mom is a community representative. So I've always been part of that, like, environment. You know what I mean? And that's how I got involved, like, very young age, from the time I was, like, in high school. But for the people who don't have that, like, I have a role model. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, so everybody doesn't have that, and they don't know where to start, because they don't teach it in school. You know, they teach you, I guess, you know, if you go into, I guess government relations or American history, they teach you what the program wants to teach you, not what is really going on. You get what I'm saying? You know,
well, I think the entire education system needs ratified, in my opinion. We're teaching students the same way that they've been taught since the 1800s, and the entire original reason of the public education system was to create skilled enough workers to give them enough education to be able to do those factory jobs during the Industrial Revolution.
And you know what? I'm glad you mentioned even that part of education, because this is the flip side. Because we've been programmed to just give you the minimum awareness, that minimum learning. They expect you to always stay within those parameters, right? But what happened is that a lot of us moved on and excelled in education. And right now, what has happened is that the tables have flipped over, whereas where they might have thought that many minorities didn't have the hearsay or didn't have enough education or didn't have enough authority, because we've been in school, because we've been really, like, working on ourselves, majority of minorities now, in a nutshell, they're the ones who are creating the rules. They're the ones who are the authorities. They're the ones who are, you know, saying,
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Okay.
He said Pluto's not a planet, and Pluto is no longer a planet.
Okay. So The thing about it is this. What was basically a majority is no longer, and the truth
Correct.
hurts.
Yeah.
And what was a minority is now becoming a majority. The hourglass has flipped. Okay.
Absolutely.
And this was the awareness that came through 2020. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And
Yeah.
then prevailed into 2021 right now,
Yeah.
you know, because, hey, it is what it is. You
Rich
know,
Turner's in the
what's
house.
up, Mr. Rich Turner? You know, it is what it is. You know,
Yeah.
they saw us as low lives, uneducated,
Yeah.
but meanwhile, we are well informed, and now only that we've been doing our work and we've been doing our homework, and
Yeah.
now you have attorney generals. Okay, you have a whole bunch of doctors, you have a whole bunch of lawyers.
Yes.
In government, let's not even go there. Okay, so hey, it's like
Yeah,
put a
absolutely.
respect on it. Put a
And
respect
that's
on that.
that's the thing. I think that people like I'm glad that I was raised. My father was a huge influence on me growing up, and from the time I was before I was even in school in kindergarten, he always taught me it doesn't matter who the person is. Doesn't matter if they're rich, poor, black, white, Asian. It doesn't matter who they are. We are all human beings, and that's what you
Absolutely.
have to remember. And I mean, whether that it's somebody that's completely homeless or somebody living in a mansion, still a human being. Everybody has
Absolutely.
feelings. Everybody has dreams. Everybody has goals. Sometimes those things get derailed in life for them, but it's never your place to belittle somebody for who they are or what they're going through. And and that's always stuck with me
That's
throughout
awesome.
life. And like me personally, I will gladly use my white privilege to stand between any person of color and any white supremacist because I won't
Mhm.
stand for it. I can't do that. It
Yeah.
turns my stomach and it hurts my heart to even see that stuff, going on.
Mhm.
In 2020, in 2021, we still have systematic racism within our own government and the police force,
And it's
and
you.
it's
It's
and
you.
I'm glad that it's going to be getting addressed, and it's because people that same people that turned out and voted in this election are still watching. They're still,
Mhm.
all right, we got you in there. Now it's your time. Now you got
Right.
to do your job. And
Right.
but I don't think we should let up. We need to be calling our senators. We need to be calling our
I call
representatives.
them. They know me by my first name. Okay.
Yeah,
Because
yes.
listen, I live in the community, but that's the way you got to be. You
Yeah.
live in a
Yeah.
community, okay? Now, by all means, there's certain issues that may happen around in your neighborhood. I'm a homeowner,
Mm-hmm.
okay? My streets, if I got a pothole, something happening, they're coming down to cut down trees and all that stuff. I need to be informed,
Yeah.
okay? And if they're taking a long ass time as to why, I need to know why,
Yeah.
it's not being done. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So you have to train yourself to really be involved and know, like, be aware of your community, because you know what? That's how it's done. And that's the advantage that everybody else who's informed does for them
Right.
to get by,
Yeah.
and that's how they get all the perks that they get. And it's not a
Yeah.
question of favoritism. It's you do your part, and they do their part. They work for you. You put them into office. You vote for
Yep.
them. Hold them accountable.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. And I, I will say kind of a little side note of politics.
Mhm.
You know, Trump's entire platform that he stood on and said, "I'll make America great again. I'll make America great again." Well, at the end of his 4 years, we have a Democratic president. We'll have a Democrat-controlled Senate and House.
It turned out
So
to
in
be
a
great after
way,
all.
so in a way,
But
ironically, he did it.
yeah, technically. But then again,
Yeah, yeah,
my heart bleeds a lot in terms of, let's not forget that speech on American Carnage. You know
yeah,
that one way or the other. A lot of people didn't understand it at the time because we're not used to having rhetoric like that exposed. But when you take a look at over 400,000
Yeah.
gone in a pandemic. If that's not American carnage, you don't know what American carnage is.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, because theoretically it was done.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've had some friends who are no longer with us because of this year, because of the pandemic and everything.
Same here. I have
And
friends that answer me, you know.
it's, and I mean, at that level, at the executive branch of government, at that level of his office, he could have stated executive orders to save a lot of people. And instead of taking the responsibility of his office and doing that, well, I mean, we've seen it over and over again in this presidency. He went the complete opposite and the other way with it.
Yeah.
And I just, yeah, like you said, 2021 is going to begin tomorrow. It's going to be great.
Pretty much, you know.
I'm manifesting.
For me,
I'm believing.
The beginning of the new year, you know, and I'm pretty hopeful and very positive about it. You know, consider that we all do our part by all means, because we all have work to do. You know, we all have work to do. You know, and then just continue on, like, informing and educating. You know, we all know something extra than another. You came here, you spoke about the cannabis industry, which I had an inkling about it, but you know what? It's not my forte. It's your forte. So you came on and you educated us on that, you know, and I appreciate that from you. You know, so that's a learning curve to me and stuff, and a learning curve for the audience, because they got exposed to something that they really don't know too much about. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's really what it's all about. Just keep doing our part, keep educating, get involved in our community, you know, bring awareness, and everything should be good.
And going back to the CBD and you know, cannabis in general, I don't know if you've ever heard of Charlotte's Web, or the little girl Charlotte, who the strain was named after. There was a video, and it showed she was having between 1,200 to 1,500 mini seizures, to the point where she couldn't get up and go out and play. She couldn't be a normal kid. She was confined to her bed. She had a feeding tube because of the constant seizures that she was having. And they showed the video. It was It's called Rick Simpson oil. Rick Simpson's the gentleman who developed this. Oh, Peterson! Hi,
what's up, Peter?
And it gets me choked up every time I think about it. And when I see the video, she was 5 years old at the time. Now, the Rick Simpson oil is a concentrated formula of cannabis. So you have higher levels of the CBD and higher levels of THC and things like that. And literally, it was a toothpick dipped into this, and then they placed it on her tongue. Just ran that over her tongue. Within 5 minutes, she was sitting up. She was coherent. Within 15 minutes, she was able to stand up and walk. Something that normally she could not do because of the amount of seizures that she was having on a daily basis. So seeing that and still going, oh no, that's horrible. How can, to myself, I don't know how a human being could live with themselves knowing that they want to take away from a child that could live a normal life with this medication. You know, and and there's hundreds of cases like hers. You know, with I forget the exact illness she was suffering from, but I think it was a form of my brain is losing it right now. I apologize.
This is your time.
But it was epilepsy. It was a form of epilepsy that she had, and a lot of children suffer from. And with literally, it was less than a drop. It was just the residue that was left over on the toothpick, and they placed it on her tongue. Within 5 minutes, She was sitting up. Within 15, she could stand up and walk. You know, so they continue this with the doctor's approval in Colorado. They continue this. She's living a normal, everyday life because of that medication. And they moved to Colorado from New York State. And so literally, if you think about it, we have families that have uprooted and had to leave the rest of their families and have become medical refugees within their own country, you know, because their state doesn't allow that. Children's services would have came to their home and took their children away because they want to help their child, you know, and that should never be the case, especially they're not trying, you know, it's not like they're like, here's some meth. No. They're actually, you know, using a substance that has been being tested and been being worked on since 1996, you know, and it's proven to help with seizures in adults and everything. And they just wanted the best for their child. What parent wouldn't want the best for their child? You know,
the thing about it is this. It depends on what, as an individual, what you're committed to, or what do you stand for. I stand for healing. I don't care who you are. You know what I mean? I stand for healing. And that's mental, emotional, physical, spiritual healing. Okay? And if you're into that, if that's the way you stand, it doesn't matter. You're going to test and try. Everything is trial and error. Okay? You're going to test and try everything under the sun. And CBD is going to be one of them, you know. Now, the issue about it is this. As you all know, you know, FDA does not, quote unquote, approve, right? But that's the main issue that we have. Meanwhile, you have a lot of these side companies where you could become an ambassador, like a distributor for it. TLC has a CBD product line, you know, with photographs pages and stuff. And that has to do with weight loss, you know. There are many different companies out there. As a matter of fact, I have a friend of mine who it's a CBD product, but it's a patch that she puts on, and I guess it's supposed to relieve pain, agony, or whatever the situation is. Like, it regulates you and everything. And she's been using it for COVID, you know, and it's been successful for her, you know, and stuff. And she's selling it, so she's an ambassador for that company who does this patch thing, and it's all about CBD. It's a CBD patch, you know. So there's so many different ways, but it's just like you got to step outside of the box. You know, the whole thing, like, even as a parent, you know, your child is suffering. I mean, I remember when I was suffering, you know, there was a point where my mother, there's nothing that she could have done for me because she had tried everything and nothing was really working. But what happened is that, you know, I just stood up one day and I was like, I'm tired of being in pain. I can't deal with this anymore. And I started going to doctors. Like, I had an appointment with doctors. I kid you not, in a month, I probably have like 8 appointments every week, 1 every week or something. You know what I mean? Within a month and a half, I kept going. And I was just like, I'm going to find me a solution. So I went through so many different doctors that gave me so many different opinions because, you know what? Being in healthcare, I knew that it was just an opinion. It's not right or wrong. There's no test to it. Okay, it's a matter of will I accept what you're telling me, basically. So once I got that wisdom, I got wise about it. I was just like, you know what? I won't do this. I won't do that. Like, I was able to pick and choose. I was able to make choices. But you have to come to a certain level. You have to be like, you know, at a point where you're like, forget this, man, you know, and just move forward. Your level of confidence has to go to a high where you don't even care. Okay, because it's all about survival at that point.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, so when you get to that point, trust and believe you're going to try a CBD product. Okay. And once you try that CBD product, trust me, you will know whether you want to continue with it or maybe try another one because they're all different. Like we said, depending on what they're composed with.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. Because like I said, there's so many different, like down here in Florida, they sell CBD flower. So it's cannabis flower, and I like at vape shops, like not even at medical dispensary. So
Really?
it's cannabis, but it's just, I would say, oh sorry, it's hemp. I would say it's hemp because hemp is higher in CBD, and like the THC is so low in hemp that you're not going to get the psychedelic effect that THC, like the cannabis, would normally provide. But they are higher in CBD. And, yeah, down here in Florida, you can actually go in and buy from a vape shop. I went to a vape shop down here and I've seen it, and they have
Mm.
they have that, and then they have different various CBD products. I would I would say this anyway, before ever consuming it, look up that company.
Yes.
Um, make
See if they're
sure,
legit.
yeah, make sure that they are. Have because when you look up the company, that trust me, those companies will let you know if they are licensed. If they are licensed, it will be on their website because they want people to know, hey, look, we're doing this right. You
Yeah.
know,
Because they could be
and
reported too.
yeah, exactly. And so they want to make sure that, hey, this is, this is what we're doing, and this is how we're doing it. But yeah, make sure.
Mhm.
I would just say that's the biggest thing is a lot of people just you got to do your research. You got to do research on everything nowadays because there are those people who only care about the money and they do not care about their consumers whatsoever. And there are those companies who I would say are morally responsible and ethically responsible and do want to do what's best for their consumer instead of just their bottom dollar. you know,
Mm.
um, and like that's myself. I would say anybody that lives in a recreational state versus just a medical state, you're
Mhm.
probably at least 10 times safer going to the dispensary
Mhm.
there than buying it from a buddy
I see.
because your buddy might not know about, say, the flushing process. Miss Nightson, hi.
Miss Martine is in
Might not
the house. And we also have Nene Christie in the house. Welcome
that
aboard.
yeah Nene was on there, yeah.
Oh,
uh
is that that's your girlfriend?
yeah, here, hold on, here she's over there.
Okay.
But yeah, um yeah, so like I would get because they, like, especially in the recreational states, they are being scrutinized and they are so much more under the microscope than even just the medical states are.
Hmm.
And in which I think that's a good thing. But I look forward to when everybody is under that same kind of
Yeah, when
scrutiny.
it's across the board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
um, because I mean, I don't think anybody should become sicker from medication that they are trying to,
Um,
heal themselves
I
with.
definitely will not be an advocate for that. I'm an advocate for healing.
Right,
Okay.
right, yeah, and yeah. So that's and I think that um, we are definitely moving in that direction.
Yeah,
And
we're moving in a good direction, I must say. Very
yeah,
hopeful,
hmm
and the inspiration is there. So
yeah,
there are a lot of proofs, I would say, um, where they can investigate and follow on to see the differences that has
yeah,
been made with the usage of CBD products. You
yeah,
know,
definitely.
as you stated, you have PTSD, which
Hmm.
is major, and I'm glad that you're stable with that because it could take a toll on you. It
Hmm.
really can,
Oh yeah,
and,
yeah.
and to have that control is excellent. That's excellent. I'm sure you have some days that are not
Oh yeah.
just yours.
Um, Actually, I have been sober for 20 days without any cannabis in my system. Um,
Nice.
and one of the reasons for that is I don't have my medical card yet for Florida. Could
Hmm.
I get some? Yeah. But
Hmm.
at the same time, when I talk about responsible use and I advocate for those things,
You have to be
uh,
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so, and at the same time is I don't ever want to be fully dependent on one medication or another for my mental well-being.
Mhm.
And I think that sometimes going a few days or a little longer not smoking as well is just as healthy and just as good for my mental state as smoking when I really need it.
Excellent.
So that way I don't just use it as a crutch to get through and get by every single day. Um,
Excellent. Excellent.
but I mean, do I enjoy being stoned? I would be lying if I said no.
One question I want to ask you. I realize that you do move a lot, you
Mhm.
know, and I
Yeah.
was wondering, is it because of work? Like, how do you do a lot
Well,
of moving?
me and Nini, we do the DoorDash, Uber Eats, Postmates thing, along with my photography. And like I said, like when we originally scheduled this, we were in Oregon, and we like the West Coast. It's very nice out there, but man, the West Coast is expensive. And
Mm.
Chris Collins is coming in. Hey, Chris.
What's up, Chris?
But yeah, the West Coast is expensive, and the main reason why we were going to a lot of these different places is we wanted to kind of check it out and decide where we want to live, where we want to be at for a while, and we've come to Florida, the conclusion that Florida is definitely where we want to be for a while, and Miss Knightson asked me a question: what is your favorite
Mhm.
medium to photograph? Honestly, my absolute favorite is wildlife and nature. Like if National Geographic called me tomorrow and said, "Hey, we want to hire you as a contract photographer," after I screamed like a 12-year-old girl, I would say yes. But I
I'm
like,
gonna say
but
that your photography page is awesome. I
thank you
love
so
it.
much. Appreciate
You
that.
know, you have like a very nice, distinct eye for the things that you capture.
Thank you. Thank you. I love it though. I really love shooting all types of
Mhm.
mediums, from product photography to landscape and various types of model work to events, weddings, all of that. Because there's something to me. Uh, it's almost like I'm a time traveler. You know what I'm saying? And helping people time travel. When you capture moments, they're
Mhm.
at their happiest. Someone's the happiest moments of their life, whether it's at a party, whether it's at a wedding, whether it's this, that, or the other, and they can look back and like, hey, I remember, man, and they just bring such good, warm feelings to them, thinking back of that particular day or that particular event, or even with the landscape photography. Like, I've been there, yeah, I know that place. That's man,
Mhm.
I had such an awesome time, but and it's in a way, it's they get to time travel to those happy moments in their life when they were there and they were experiencing that. And that's one of my biggest reasons for loving photography so much.
How long you been doing the photography?
Um, on and off, um, well, about 5 years.
So is it a hobby for you still, or is it professional?
Well, I used to do a lot more product photography, and that was on the professional side of that. And then kind of had a couple gigs that didn't pay how the
Mhm.
contract was stated that they were going to pay. So I kind of took a step back from it because I felt like it was becoming more of I wasn't doing it for the reason I originally started doing it for. It wasn't
Right.
for my passion of the art of photography and doing that. It was just for the money. And I'm like, I
Mhm.
don't ever want to just do something for the money. And so I took a step back from it. But now I'm actually shout out to DC. It was literally my second day in Florida, and I was talking to him. He goes, "Hey, I know somebody that needs a photographer." And I'm like, "What?" So he put me in contact with two gentlemen who are DJs as well, and
Awesome. Networking. I love it.
yeah, they booked me for a gig on it was January 3rd down in Miami Beach. Then I went down there and I shot the event, and I, got several really good promo shots and stuff like that. Yeah. Yes, Miss Nice. The boundaries are, turning art into work. You don't want to make sure that it's just work to you anymore, because then you lose your passion for it.
Yeah.
Myself, like, yeah, I want to. I don't know. I want to capture happiness and share that, so that way.
Awesome.
And I also, but there's also a flip side to that too. I also want to capture the reality of life, and the harshness of life, to also make people realize that I don't have it that bad, because there are people out there that have it extremely worse than a lot of us do. And I mean, me and Nini, we were living in our car, traveling around. I mean, we were staying in our car a lot of nights when we were out in California and stuff like that. But we didn't have it as bad as those people that were living in the parks at night, or staying under the bridges, or being harassed because they have no place to go. No, they don't have a vehicle to be in, or anything like that. And thank you, GQ. Yes, and I wonder. I wanted to share that, but I stopped myself, and I kind of regret it now, because I didn't want to be seen as someone who was trying to profit or show off, trying to help those less fortunate, because that's not or exploit the less fortunate, and that's definitely not what I want to do. I want to bring awareness to people. Like, once again, California is an extremely wealthy state. They are a very left state, but in cities like Santa Cruz and San Francisco, they were putting down these bars with spikes in them to prevent homeless people from sleeping in these locations. I actually was very happy to hear that there was a few stars like Johnny Depp and Leonardo DiCaprio that went to the streets and pried those things up out of the concrete, because these people are they're just trying to exist. They have nothing, and you're trying to, like, just go away. We don't want to see it. We don't want to do nothing. But they're not helping, and then goes back to being on our government officials, and be from the local level all the way up to be, hey, you guys need to do something about this, because
those opinions. We need to voice those issues.
Yeah. And it's it goes back to don't ask what you can do for yourself, but don't ask what people can do for you. Ask what you can do for others.
Absolutely.
And when I think as more and more people are thinking like that nowadays, and realizing that, hey, we're all humanity. That's there's only one race of people on this planet. That's human race. And we need to come together, put the hate aside, and help each other. And by helping each other, that's how we're going to elevate humanity to the next level. And through love, through compassion, and through overall understanding of one another.
Empathy.
Yeah, and just that's my goal. And if I can, and if I'm able to share that with somebody and it sinks in and it helps them in some way to be able to pass that along, that's what I want to do.
Awesome.
Actually, I've had a goal for some years, and I've talked about it on Rizzle a little and a couple of my YouTube videos that I want to get a boat. I love the ocean. I love sailing, and I'd love to save up, and I want to get a decent sized catamaran, and I would love to take a couple creators with me, and I want to sail around the world, and I want to stop at different places and actually record us doing things to raise awareness. To, from maybe stopping by the Pacific garbage patch that's floating out there and taking a few buckets of trash out of the ocean, you know what I'm saying? It's the plastics that are floating around, to maybe, the next one being in Indonesia, and we're helping a small village build a well because they don't have enough, people to do that, to show human kindness doesn't have to end with just your family. Human kindness, you can reach out of that. You can go out of your inner circle and break out of your comfort zone and help people from all walks of life. Because there are millionaires who are absolutely and totally miserable.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, wealth doesn't equal happiness. Yeah. So I just, and I think, we just gotta check on each other more, in my opinion.
We do. And one of the reasons why I love the fact that I have this show here and it's established, and you guys are pretty much programmed to know Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 p.m. EST. It's the Martine Show, okay?
Yep.
So it's because of all that you talked about. It's all about, being of service, being there for others, being able to hear people out, giving people a platform where they can speak their mind, body, and soul. You're here and you shared so much passion, and I love the fact that you're so passionate about everything you do. But aside from passion, is that you're very much in tune with the fact that you want to do well. You want to always project what's good. What you feel in your heart is right. Like, you do not want to walk on anyone's, you don't want to offend anyone. You don't want to.
I mean, I've been guilty of it. Don't get me wrong. I've been guilty of it. I've let people get to me, and I'm good, but once someone insults people I care about, then temper flares up and it's just out the window.
It's a whole different ballgame. I've been there too. I know. Trust me, I know. But we know where your heart is, and we could sense that your heart is wide open, and that's a beautiful thing, and that's what being empathic is all about. Everyone is not that way, but for those who reach that point in life, okay, because it actually takes something for you to reach that point. A few things you got to give up on. You know what I mean? There are things you got to let go. Okay. Yeah. And you have to go through experience before you reach to your utmost state of empathy. Yeah. Okay. You have to go through some shit. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. All right. That's how it works. Okay. That's how it works. That's how you understand the value and how you understand what it's like to stand and hold space for people. And it's not about you. It's about people, because at the end of the day, the reward comes back to you anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to be the forefront of everything. But at the end of the day, the reward, it comes back to you because you held space for somebody else.
Yeah.
It's very simple. And that's the formula of really living life in a comfortable state and being of service to people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love that about you. I really love that about you.
Thank you. Yeah, I definitely try. I definitely try to do my best on those fronts. That's for sure. I just that's my biggest thing is I don't want to be remembered as somebody who he was a great success, but I stepped on the necks of everybody to get there. You know what I mean? I want to become a success, but I want to become a success by being a kind, good person and helping people every step of the way for me to reach that level of success.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a whole different ballgame.
yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
And GQ Gary's going to be the selling humanitarian.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it.
That's
And don't sleep on that, because it's quite possible.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. That's the goal. It's another reason why we chose Florida. There are a lot of boats down here.
Oh yeah, I know. As a matter of fact, my cousin has one, and it was funny. Just last year, he got the boat, and in February last year, I was in Florida. Me and a few friends, we had a great time. From Fort Lauderdale, we went down to Miami. We chilled at the Super Bowl. Came back, took the boat, came back. I mean, it was like the most marvelous weekend we ever had pre-COVID. Nice. And then when we came back by March 16, I started working from home, and we were in full-blown COVID. But not knowing that we were in COVID already when I was down in Florida, we had a blast, let me tell you. And I'm just so grateful that we did what we did, and we chilled, and it was fun. We enjoyed the boat, but we can't wait to go back. That's for sure.
Yeah. I went through dive school back in 2006 down in Fort Lauderdale, and I actually got my certifications all the way up to assistant instructor, my dive master, rescue diver, and all that. Down there, and Fort Lauderdale has always kind of held a place in my heart for Florida, especially the dive sites right off the coast there too. It's absolutely amazing down there.
It's beautiful.
And
very beautiful.
Shout out to a couple of my Fort Lauderdale, Broward County people, GQ, DC.
So we got that. Basically, your position is that you're like a nomad. You were just moving from one place to another until you got comfortable wherever you feel, and you got situated, which is like such an adventurous type of experience.
Well, I loved to read a lot more, like some of the older classic stuffs, and Hemingway said that this world is too vast and the cultures are too diverse for one man to stay where he was born and say he's a man of the world. And I agree with that 100%. I want to learn as much as I can from as many people as I can, so I can have a better understanding of this blue little ball that's flying around in space.
And that's the value of life. That's how you learn about people, is to be around them, to communicate, exchange, connect. That's how you really learn about people, and that's awesome. Talking about photography, are you following, do you know about Pete Sousa?
No, but I will.
Pete Sousa is actually a renowned photographer. He is the photographer that was working 8 years, and he captured the Obamas.
Okay.
You should follow him on Instagram. His shots are like to die for, like amazing.
Nice.
And he's very descriptive in terms of the way he projects his shots. Like, you will love. It's Pete Sousa, Souza. You definitely want to follow him on Instagram and stuff. And he also has a documentary based on photography. And you want to learn about his story as well. How he became a top-notch photographer representing President of the United States.
Yes.
That journey is freaking amazing. And the documentary is out. It was actually on, I believe it was MSNBC. I saw it on. It was like twice and stuff. But by all means, check him out on Instagram. And you'll get a lot of inspiration. You'll get so motivated. If you ever thought that you're not going to make it in photography, kick that to the curb. Okay.
Thank you.
You will make for sure.
Yeah. I mean, there are some photographers who have influenced me for sure. From one of them being a personal friend of mine in Ohio. She actually was the person who she gave me my first DSLR camera. She upgraded, and when I say gave, she sold it to me for $100, but she could have easily sold the camera at the time for way more than that. And she goes, "No, she's like, I've seen the photos that you've taken on your phone. I want to see what you can do with an actual camera." So she's like, "Do me a favor, don't shoot in auto. Whatever you do, just don't shoot in auto. Shoot in manual." So I said, "Okay." So I did, and she was like, "See, you have an eye for this. You're good at this." And I was like, "Yeah, okay. I like this a lot. This is fun. You know what I mean?" And so I went from start just friends and local bands, local DJs. I did some shots of back then, and then from there it got into the product photography, and it's just gone from there. It was about 5 years ago, Miss Night Sun. And since then I just how long was it was about 5 years ago when I got my first professional or like DSLR camera in my hand. And now I have a mirrorless Canon, which I am in love with the mirrorless ones because they're a lot lighter. They're not as bulky as the DSLRs because they don't have to have that mirror in there reflecting the image back to the sensor. It just goes from lens to the sensor. And I absolutely love that camera, and I don't think I'd want to go back to the DSLR.
You know what? I just love the sense of your passion. I just feel it as you're explaining everything. It's just so moving. Oh my goodness! Like
I really appreciate
so passionate about this. Wow.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. It is like I don't know. I've always Canon all day. That's right. When I decided to do something, this goes for my dad. It comes from my dad. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you're flipping burgers. It doesn't matter if you're the president of the United States. It doesn't matter if you're a photographer. Whatever you decide to do, work every day to be the best at it. Learn as much as you can about it. Because if you're doing it, why not try to be the best?
Absolutely.
If that's you chose to do that, why not get up every day and be like, I'm going to be the best at this. And I'm not saying that I am the best. Anyway, but I definitely try to give it my best and give it my all with the knowledge that I have gained from previous shoots to the education that I've learned. There's a YouTuber who's a photographer and videographer from Canada called Peter McKinnon. And he had a bucket list of shots that he wanted to do as a professional. And when he was talking about that, like to me, like that radiated with me. Like there are shots that it's like to myself that like I need to get these. These are my bucket list shots.
That's what I'm telling you. Just like PT said, he had the same passion, and he explained like he had shots that he took of Barack, just like it. People didn't even understand what he was trying to do, until they looked at the photo and they're like, "Oh my God!" So I understand exactly what you're saying, and you have the best attitude for that. You really do.
I appreciate that.
My son says that you have a radiating passion. Yes, he does. Like I could feel it right here. Okay? No joke. And she has a question. It says, have you always considered yourself an artsy person, or did you just come about in the last 5 years or so?
as far as like, I would say like imagery arts and stuff like that. I little bit more backstory than a lot of people. I was a tattoo artist for about 3 years, and this was a kind of an overlapping time between that and the photography. And I originally just started using my phone, of course, to take pictures of the work that I did. Then I would just put that on a computer, print that out, put that on my portfolio, things like that. And then I started, once my friend gave me the DSLR, I started using that. And then I had a couple individuals who they asked me, "Hey, do you do photo shoots?" And I was like, I told them, like, "Oh, I've never done one before, but I'm willing to try."
Awesome.
And I did some of my very first photo shoots with that first camera, and that's when I was like, this is what I love. This, and I transitioned from tattooing to photography, like I was making a good living being a tattoo artist.
I'm sure.
But I would say that was my temporary passion. It held me being able to be creative until I found what I was really, really passionate about. You can view your tattoo because I'm obsessed with tattoos. Well, I can show you the very first tattoo. Well, no, actually, I can show you the very second tattoo because that I did because the guy I apprenticed under was very old school. You could not tattoo somebody else until you tattooed yourself twice. And one, I have an anchor just right above my knee, but I'm wearing pants right now. I can't show you guys that. The second one is on my arm. I'm left-handed. And let me try to light this somewhat better here. I actually did this shark on my arm. And I was like this when I had goggles and a surgical mask, so I didn't have any splatter, the ink and anything on my face. And then he helped me stretch this side, so I can do that there. But this
you did it on your own, but on yourself.
Yeah.
Wow.
And once he saw that, he was like, "Yeah, you're ready to tattoo on some people." So I said, "Okay." And that was. I said, I went from there and was in the tattoo industry, solid full time for 3 years, because I would go to these tattoo conventions with him and some of the guys from the shop, and I'd be like, I'd see the photographers, and I'm always like, "What kind of camera is that?" And they were like, "Oh," I'm like, "Cool." But they're like, "Do you shoot?" I'm like, "No, just mainly on my phone, but it's just something I was interested in." And then my friend Mame, she was like, "Well, hey, I just ordered a new camera. You should take this." So I was like, "All right."
And you said that you might just mess around and become the best. I truly believe that. I already see it happening, So you might as well claim it in your mind, write it down, affirm that you are the best. Because you're not that far off. Like, seriously.
I really appreciate that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean it wholeheartedly. You're not far off. I don't.
And Miss Knight said thank you. She was saying that glad that you found your true passion. I really, really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Do you know how long some people go along without even knowing what they're passionate about? I mean, technically, passion is always connected to creativity. And those of us who are creative, which is like everybody we interview here, basically know about what being passionate is all about, because you believe in what you believe in because it's your gift. And that's what creativity is all about. You have a gift. your gift is the gift of sight. Like it's vision. You're able to see things that I cannot see. You know, just like I could see things that you can't see. You know
Right.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You know, it's a whole different ball game. And your interpretation of what you can see is totally different from anybody else's because you're
Yeah.
the only one who can see that damn thing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. Yes. Definitely.
You
Definitely.
know, and we're all like that in a
Yeah.
nutshell. You
Yeah.
know,
No. Like, um, I just, I love I've always loved the arts even before I became a tattoo artist. From music to the visual arts, and uh, I always was like, when I would tell my friends before, like who were musicians or visual arts, man, this freaking rocks, and I'm like, oh, thanks, I appreciate it. I never understood why people were like that, but now people that more complimenting me, I'm thinking to myself, oh, thank you, I appreciate it, but I know for myself that I have so much farther to go before I reach reach certain levels, and I want to keep pushing. I don't ever want to just be complacent and happy with where I'm at and what I'm
absolutely.
doing. I want to continue to push myself to be better and better, and it's not for any other reason other than that I just, when I look back at some of my old photography, I cringe now. I'm like, oh, that was not that good. But,
Then everybody else is saying, "Oh, it was great," and you're like,
yeah,
"Yeah, okay,
that's great,
thank
that's
you."
great. And I'm like, yeah, but I could redo that so much better now.
But you know what? That's the best attitude to have. It really is because you know you're always. It just shows that you're always setting higher goals for yourself. That's all it is, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you're confident. You have that, and you know, confidence. It's when other people look at you, the people who are less confident when they look at you, it could be a little fear. Like it could give them a little bit of fear. You know, they could
Yeah,
be like a little, like, oh my God, you know, because you're always reaching other heights. You
yeah,
know, I've been through the same things myself. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? But just know that they're uncomfortable because of the fact that they're not setting goals for themselves. They're not trying to reach another echelon. Like you have a goal, you reached it, then you like have another goal, you know. So that's really important. I think Gary is freezing on me.
yeah,
Oh, you're
yeah,
back. Okay.
yeah. So I was like, oh, well.
No,
Actually,
we're here. Um,
I wanted to share this information with you real quick.
go ahead.
Do you know that me and you share something?
What is it?
We are both authors.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I chose to self publish, but I have two books on Kindle on the Amazon Kindle store.
What's your name on
One,
Amazon?
just
Gary Dankdaze?
it's Gary Christie Jr. I'm a junior,
Oh, I
so
checked you out. I'm gonna
yeah.
follow you on Amazon.
Okay, all right.
Gary
But yeah,
Christie Jr. Okay.
one
Nice.
is the traveling nomad, and it's ways that I've listed that people can actually work while
Perfect.
traveling, and it's a short one. And then I also have it's a cookbook, and I'm
Yes,
actually
you're cooking. I've seen you. I've seen you.
I'm originally not a lot of people know this, but I'm originally from Aberdeen, Scotland. My
Oh,
father moved to the States when I was 15, and but that's where I've been. So I actually wrote a cookbook on 15 Scottish entrees that people can kind of learn how to make those, from the Scotch egg to haggis to everything in between. With like 15 key entrees that I personally loved.
nice. Congratulations. I like that. How long ago did you publish those books?
I think those were back in, I would say 2010, 2011, around there is when I was doing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you
So
market your books? Do you
Every
sell
once
your
in a while,
books?
every once in a while, I market
Mm-hmm.
it here. They've sold, yeah, and they're a couple of them. They're accessible, so if you have like the membership on Kindle, you can get
Yes.
that and read. Yeah.
Yes.
So, but
Nice.
thank you, Miss
That's
Nice
gonna be
Son. I
his next
appreciate
book. Though.
that's
That's gonna be his
because
next book. Okay. She gave you your title. He already got a third book coming on.
there
So,
you go. There you go. Uh,
real quick, I want to touch on. You go live a lot on Twitch. I'm not sure if you
mhm.
still do. I want to
It's been
talk about
about three
that a little
weeks,
bit.
but I yeah, I still do that. I've just been kind of focusing on building my photography business and base here in Florida for a
Hmm.
little bit. But yeah, I do love to go live on Twitch, um, and I kind of use that platform a little differently than a lot of people traditionally use that forum. I mean, Twitch has kind of been known as the gaming live stream platform for gamers, where I've kind of built a big. I have a 190 followers over there.
Congratulations,
And
nice.
I appreciate it. I have a very decent base of people that every time I come on, they're in my live streams. A couple people from Canada, a couple people from Wales and in the UK, Italy, and because I talk about cannabis and
Awesome,
on
awesome,
there,
awesome.
yeah. And because I have educated myself on that particular subject, and I like to share that.
I
Plus,
believe
I
that's a
also get
promising platform for you. I really believe that's a promising platform for you, that you should not sway away from that, regardless of whatever else that you do. That should be part of you at all times.
yeah somebody on when I'm promoting my photography down here. Someone said Gary Dankdaze. Good luck with that in Florida. And I just responded back to him, "Thank you. I really appreciate
Absolutely.
that."
That's it. That's it. End story. You know, I like those type of answers, those
Yeah,
humble type of answers, but I call them blockers. Like, thank
yeah,
you.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
here's the hand. You got
Yeah.
it?
Like, I've already
Stop
decided
sign. Hit the stop
that I'm
sign
gonna
right
do.
there.
Yeah, I've already decided that I'm gonna do well in Florida. That's, I mean, I'm putting it to action. So, and the funny thing is that person has no idea how many times I've already been contacted by people that are having weddings coming up in the spring,
Mhm.
or other events. So, but yeah, no, but back to that, yeah, with Twitch, 190 followers on there, and I made affiliate, which is the first level of monetization with Twitch.
Nice.
I made affiliate in 30 days for my first live stream.
You know why? Because you're talking about something everybody's interested in and they're eager to learn and they caught on.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm very blessed. I mean, I know there's other people that have been like, because they made affiliate in 12 days or 13 days or something like that, and some of them have making thousands of dollars off of it. But I'm happy with the following that I have on there. Thank you, Miss Nice
I'm
Son. I
happy for
appreciate
you
that.
too. Yeah.
And
First of
because
all, just to get a little bit of consistency on Twitch is not
yeah,
easy
yeah,
unless you're a gamer,
yeah.
you know. So for you to acquire that, that's awesome. Like Miss Night Sun says, yes, definitely. Congratulations. That is awesome.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, and mainly it's because I always want to, I give people the facts, and what it is it's me reviewing products a lot of times because we've been the only recreational state. Sorry, there's only two recreational states that I have not gotten to go to their dispensaries and sample their products from, and that's Illinois and
Mhm.
Maine. And that's Illinois just recently became uh, legalized. And then
Mhm.
we were actually in Massachusetts this summer, and we started having some car problems. So we were like, let's go to Ohio. Nene has family there, and we have a very good friend, Scott Daly, who's also a mechanic. Was on Rizzle as
Yeah,
well.
he's on it too. Okay.
And so we decided to do that, and unfortunately did not get to make it there, and that was one of my top goals for 2020. But it's okay. I'm gonna make it up to Maine eventually. And I was just doing product reviews, and then I was talking about the different products that I would be consuming. Thankfully, like Rizzle, Twitch doesn't care if you're consuming cannabis live. I've learned the hard way that TikTok does not like that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, they. As a matter of fact, I was doing this, and this is a regular vape. This is no THC, no C. I did this in one video. They pulled that.
Whoa. Yeah, TikTok is very anal when it comes to a lot of different things. I mean, I have friends on TikTok that were getting their videos, come down because of certain music that they were utilizing in their videos. Okay,
wow. Yeah.
So crazy anal like that.
No, but if I do this on TikTok,
it's okay.
That's perfectly allowed. As long as they don't.
Super anal. I called it super anal.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I never joined because that's just not my cup of tea.
I'm currently at 330 on there. I'm actually trying to get to the first, my first goal of 1,000 people. Thank you, Miss Nightsun. Yeah. They
don't know what they want. They don't know what they want.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, exactly. They have. They have women on there who are wearing pasties and painting themselves in body paint, and that's art. There was a guy who had his entire channel taken down, and he was a physical fitness trainer, and he didn't have a shirt on when he was lifting weights, and they took his entire account down.
I tell you, I know. That's why they confused. They really confused over there.
Yeah.
So,
sorry.
You go live on Twitch, and you racked up pretty much a lot. So I see you on YouTube also. How's that going there? What exactly are you niching on YouTube?
So it's taken me kind of a while to figure out what exactly, because I was kind of using YouTube as like just a general overall vlog and share whatever I wanted. And thanks to you, GQ, and a few other people, I learned that that's not going to get me anywhere. So
the reverse.
Right.
Everything that we do, like we create videos, we could just drop it everywhere else. YouTube is like, no.
Right.
Okay, research first to see what is good with YouTube, and then create videos on based on what you research that YouTube wants. Okay? Right. That's the way it is.
Exactly. And one of actually a huge YouTuber. He does videos. He doesn't show his face; it's just his voice. But he's kind of always talked like, top 10 places in the United States for this, or around the world for this or that and that. And it's the world according to Briggs. He has like several thousand followers, and he said if he put a post out, and this was, I think, a little over a month ago now. He put a post out and he said, this is only for small YouTube creators with under 1,000 followers. If you are trying to grow your channel and you want some input, hit me up, let me know, drop your link. So I did that. And he started following me. And he went and he looked at my videos, and he gave me some very valuable points. He goes, you have a great personality on camera. You definitely have a very unique look that will draw people to you. He goes, you need to kind of focus on, one particular niche. And he goes, I wouldn't choose the one that you've gone with the most, because that would be the cannabis. He's like, and if you do, I would suggest consuming off screen, and then talking about being herbally inebriated. Don't use keywords like I'm stoned or I'm high or things like that while on screen, because that will, one, it gets you blocked from even, it has to be 18 plus only, and when you do that, YouTube's algorithm puts your stuff way down.
Way down.
And so I was like, okay, so now I did a couple test YouTube videos of talking about photography and shooting in manual and different things like that. And I think that's where my channel is going to go, because that's a topic that I am passionate about, but I can share it without their algorithm and YouTube being, well, this is a controlled substance still at a federal level, and we can't, because we can, like, any of those videos couldn't be monetized even if I already met YouTube's monetization requirements. So I was like, okay, so I could still share that passion on other platforms while sharing my photography passion on YouTube. And so that's what mainly is going to be going up on my YouTube now. Moving forward is more photography tips and tricks, different, how do you get that blurred effect, when your subject up front, and it's called bokeh, and, going into the different lenses to use for that and how that actually works with the light coming in into the aperture and things like that, to give people some, I guess, I call it photography 101 but to help people get more of the basics. And if I happen to inspire some, one of the next great fine art photographers or the next great, National Geographic photographer, that would be awesome. But, I think that's where I'm going to move in that direction with my YouTube now, is to share my photography and my knowledge of that.
I totally see YouTube working out for you when it comes to photography, for sure. If you stick with that for YouTube, that will definitely move for you. It'll move your YouTube for sure. I mean, YouTube is very funny though, but the thing about it is, once you niche down to what your purpose is on YouTube, then it becomes fun and easy, because you start to see exactly where you're leading to. As you stick to it, that basically you're going to be okay. And the photography route on YouTube for you would actually work better than the cannabis route. What I mean? Because of the regulations and stuff like that. But on Twitch, of course, you could definitely freely talk about the cannabis industry, which is really lovely. And I love the fact that you have found a way to actually still talk about everything that you're passionate about and know how to utilize the platforms. I end up doing the same thing too, because like on Rizzle, I talk about many different things. I don't zero in on my women's health too much, because there really isn't a niche factor for Rizzle on that, because of the duration of the videos. It's too short, and there's so much that we can talk about, and there's so much feeling that goes into that 60-second video is not beneficial to me, But on YouTube, there's a whole different ball game, and that's how I'm starting to see results. Because I mean, I have one video that's actually an hour and 20 minutes, and I thought it was too long, but at the same time, it really skyrocketed my channel,
Nice. Yeah,
and I'm
that's
like,
awesome.
whoa, okay.
You get the watch time in there. You also get.
I got a lot of watch time. I got a lot of watch time so far, which I'm really glad about. Only thing I got to do now to tell you guys the truth, I just need to up my subscriber list. Once I get my subscriber thing up, I'm good to go.
Awesome, awesome.
I'm good to go.
I definitely am subscribed to you over on YouTube. That is for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a fan of the lives since you started them.
Oh,
I don't always get to catch everyone, but I try my best on
I
Tuesdays
know.
and
But you tell me
Thursdays.
you always watch them afterwards, so I do
Yeah, I
appreciate
do.
that.
I do. Yeah, but yeah, I always try to make sure I'm there for the lives because you you asked really great questions of your guest, and it definitely allows for the viewer to definitely get to know them better. I believe and
On a different
uh,
level, yes.
I was definitely honored and excited when you asked for me to be on here, and I really still
I
appreciate
really
it.
felt on the other end, I really felt that you were just like waiting, like, is she gonna ask me someday? I hope she asks me someday. And I remember like once it dropped, and the way you answered me, I was just like, okay,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
problem, I got you.
Uh,
But I love it though. I really love it. And as you can see, this interview is really a remarkable interview because it's 9:52 and we still rolling.
yeah,
So we done surpassed that 1 hour.
right, right.
Thank God for Instagram for upping the time and seeing that it was quite useful for us to have more time for these interviews because here it is.
Yes, yes. And yeah, I just want to say, as a creator and somebody who watches these, thank you for all you do for us creators to bring us on here
Oh,
and get to share what we love and what we do with you and with everybody that tunes in and gets to watch. So just want to say thank you for that.
you're
Sure.
so welcome. We're really appreciative of you. And I thank each and every one of you guys for actually trusting me to be able to come on my platform and speak your truth, speak your passion, let people know who you are, what you're all about, and to be comfortable with it, because
Yeah,
it takes a lot. It takes a lot. Some are a little more vulnerable than others. Everybody doesn't make it. But at the
yeah,
same time, for those of you who actually have enough confidence to come here and show yourselves, I think that's beautiful. Thank you so much, Miss Nightsun. Guys, FYI, just to let you know, Thursday coming up, Miss Nightsun is going to be right here with me. Okay?
I
So
will be watching. I will definitely be watching.
you guys need
Uh,
to just get ready
I
from now because Thursday is going to be another hot one because this lady's on fire. For those of you who do know her, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, that's another
I'm
goddess
just
right here.
waiting for the pandemic and everything to be under control and we start going back because I want to hear about Miss Night Sun on Broadway or in some kind of a major production because she is absolutely fantastic with her
She's
acting
incredibly
skills
amazing.
and yeah and just a huge I'm looking forward to Thursday. That is for sure. That is I will be
One
watching.
thing I want to ask about Miss Night Sun, was she already on Broadway or something like that? Because I could have sworn like I've seen her on stage somewhere, either TV or whatever. Because I mean, it's her whole persona. Like she's been
Mm-hmm.
there
Yeah,
already.
yeah.
If she has not been, it's like she's done this, either
I,
comedy or
yeah,
something.
I
Like,
just
you know,
she yeah, her comedy though too. Yeah, it's like I
like
mean,
don't you see like she could be a Saturday Night Live character? Like she could just like
yes,
do her thing. Come on
definitely,
now.
definitely. I'm telling yeah, and if none of them's called, just get on YouTube and start doing it yourself because yeah,
Exactly. Let me
yeah,
tell you,
definitely.
do you know what the population is on YouTube? It's 1 billion. You think you're not gonna get your followers, like your
Right,
subscribers, you
right.
get on there? All of us could have our people. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You got people, let me tell you, yesterday, talking about YouTube, yesterday I went on and I don't know how this video came on. It's this young lady that she does ASMR, but
Mm-hmm.
she does ASMR in a way where she's actually teaching spirituality. talking about energy and talking about prayer, meditation, and all that stuff with ASMR. And I was just like, what? And the
Wow.
way that
Yeah.
she was doing it, to me, I was just like, you really thought about doing
Yeah.
this. And she had followers. Let me tell you, she
Nice.
got people following her. She got comments and everything. I was just like, check this out. If anybody could come up with their idea, really know their purpose, and niche it down to the T, get on YouTube and do their thing, I mean, you're bound to make it. The
Yeah.
only thing you got to learn is the technicalities of YouTube, which is something that I've come around. And let me tell you, is it's simpler than we think it is once you start to get it, but it takes something. You got to be so committed. You really got to want this to make it
And
happen. For real.
and I want to say this for Miss Nightson real quick. I know that Lin-Manuel Miranda is out there writing some role for you right now. And
Aww.
I'm
Put it
gonna
out in
believe
the
in that. Yeah,
universe.
I want to believe in that and put that out there because you are super, super talented.
You know what
And
gets me with her? What she does with a 60-minute video.
yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
60-second video. What she does
60,
on
yeah,
YouTube.
yeah. Absolutely, absolutely.
Her transitions, I was just like, yo, she is just like too much. I'm like, oh my God. Let me tell you, YouTube is a struggle when you pretty much don't know exactly how you're going to. But once you start to get it, honestly, I mean, it becomes a lot simpler. I'm going to have to put a course out for you guys for real so that we can
Oh,
really make things
so I
happen.
downloaded TubeBuddy, and I have TubeBuddy on my phone.
You did?
Yeah,
Good.
and thanks to the interview with the second interview with GQ, you know, that I was
Okay.
paying attention to that. I don't have a laptop right now because
Okay.
when we were in Ohio, so you know, I had to pawn that unfortunately. But I do all of my edits actually right from my iPhone for
You
everything from
can.
yeah
You
for my
can.
YouTube videos to my I have Adobe Lightroom for my photos. I have Adobe Rush for my video. You know,
Nice.
that's I just do everything from my iPhone.
Nice. Nice. And you know what? I'm recording my videos from my phone. You
Yeah,
know, I record my
yeah,
videos from my phone for YouTube so far. I mean, some videos, honestly, I have another software that I utilize, like when I don't want to show my face and stuff like that. You know, and I want to like utilize pictures. It takes a little bit. It's called Vitamine, which I could like, you know, show you guys on another live with that, which works. But I'm getting used to showing my face more on YouTube.
yeah,
So, you know, I'm using my phone for that because it's a lot
yeah,
easier for
yeah.
me to just like record and then cross it over and then let it upload. And then I'll just do everything else from my computer, you know,
Hmm.
from the desktop when I
Yeah,
come to, you know, the tags and all that stuff. But you can do everything from the phone.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you
You
just
can't.
can't.
It took me a minute to learn the because it's like okay, so I go into Lightroom and I get my thumbnail ready, what I want to use for that. Save that to my camera roll, and then I you know actually I've shot I use my Canon and all because it can record in 4K. So I'll
Mm-hmm.
shoot with my Canon, and then with the Canon app, I can use my phone to connect directly to my camera because the camera has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and send that over, throw that into my Adobe Rush, edit the color grade everything the way I want to, edit it, throw the thumbnail in, add some audio that's copyright free, and there we go. So
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
and then you know,
Awesome.
and then I go over to TubeBuddy and I use that now to do all my tags and everything.
Yay.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome. And what
uh,
you see that feature on TubeBuddy where it tells you like the possibility of how many videos you need to reach a certain number of subscribers
yeah,
and all that other good stuff?
yeah,
Woo! Don't you
and
love that feature?
I do, I love that.
It
And
gives you good pointers.
Miss Nightson asked if Lightroom's a free app. Yes, there is a premium part of the app. So if you want to unlock certain things, you would have to pay some. But for the most part, there's a lot of the stuff in the app that is free, that you can just you can get up and using right away, which you can color grade your images. You can clean them up if they're a little hazy, different things like that you can actually do right in there for free. And then I think to unlock everything, like because I use Lightroom and I use Photoshop and I use the Rush. It's $4.99 a month, and it unlocks everything in the Adobe Creative Cloud. Plus, they give me 50 gigabytes of storage within the Adobe Cloud that I can utilize as well. So it's kind of cool for that.
Awesome. And Miss Night Sun is saying, yeah, definitely she wants me to do that course, that YouTube course thing. Yeah, somebody else did ask me, and I'm like, yeah, I'm in the works of pretty much, putting that together. I just have to figure out like what would be the best format for you guys, because I've taken courses referencing YouTube too, and I do have 2 coaches that actually are really good. But the thing about it is, because I'm so committed, my devotion is to get it correctly. Yeah. I push myself to a certain extent where I have to make it happen. Yeah. But it's not so much like, not to bring anybody down, it's not so much like the courses only, it's the involvement. I want to be able to do it at a different approach. Like, I don't want to just like put a course together and you guys watch the videos and do it by yourself. Because I've done that. It takes a lot, it takes a lot. But if we could really do it in a way where it's interactive, in a way, like we're doing a course and it's kind of like live and you watch me explain and do it, and then I'll drop the video, let's say inside of a group or something, I drop the video and it's exclusive to you guys, then you guys could go and rewatch it, and wherever, like whatever you didn't get, you can like revise and go back to it, as opposed to just you doing everything by yourself. Because I've been there before, it's not easy doing like whole courses or self-study courses and stuff like that, especially when you're already confused because the technicalities are a bit much. If you don't know, you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
This night said maybe on Zoom.
Yeah, we could probably do a Zoom thing.
I would definitely want to be part of that course because
I know you would. I know you would. I can have a good handful of people I know who would definitely want to be in that course.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You two, definitely. You definitely. Miss Night Sun for sure. Possibly Ernest as well. He'll definitely want to do that and stuff. So yeah, we'll definitely want to put into works. Dwayne Hurt for sure. If I don't mention him, he's probably gonna kill me. So I'm gonna make sure I mention him. Faith as well as Miss Savage. They definitely would want to take on with that. But I'm glad you got all of this going on for real, and I'm so excited about your passion. Like, you got me excited, for you.
Thank you.
Like Miss Night Sun says, you are very, like, you have a radiating type of persona, and it was awesome just being in your space.
Appreciate that. I'm
Miss
actually
is just doing. Oh my god! We just mentioned you on the radio. You're gonna live a lot longer.
I've just recently started dabbling into Facebook ads for my photography down here, and I've had to go back into the ad and relearn because I was getting people at first who were hitting me up from Wisconsin and Texas, and I'm like, I can come to you, but I'm going to have to charge a little more.
I've done ads before. Ads before, especially for my book promotion. I pretty much do ads and stuff, and it works out. With the ads, you have to be very specific as to the geographic area that you want to be able to hit, and stuff. So it works to your advantage. Like I said, that's another industry, and it could be a whole other demon if you don't know how to work it, just like YouTube, right? But it's just a matter of, trial and error. You just put it to the test, see what works. And that's the same thing with the YouTube thing. It's trial and error. Like I've learned so much by testing that right now it's like I
Thank you,
already
Miss
know what
Savage.
not to do. You
Hmm.
know, I already know what not to do. Okay,
Yeah,
which is the most awesome thing. Yeah, and that's the best part. Reading out what not to do, and then you'll know what to do. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I just want to say thank you, Mitch Savage. Appreciate it for the support. Yeah.
yeah.
There's another
Gary's been
photographer.
killing it tonight.
There's
Okay,
another
Gary's been.
photographer. Oh, sorry, I apologize.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
There's another photographer who I recently started following.
Who's it?
He's down here in Florida, and his screen name on Instagram is the Orange. I want to. I have to, but his style down here. He went and shot a lot of the BLM protests and stuff that was going on during the summer down here. And
Mm-hmm.
like I really like looking through his photography, I was really inspired by the candid shots that he got, and then he almost he put like a fine art touch to the candid shots with the editing of them, and you know some were in color, some were in black and white, and it's, I mean, as people said, you know, we've been living through a lot of major historical events, you
Yes.
know, this
Yes.
last year, and he definitely captured captured them in a way that if they weren't published, they should be, because a lot of the imagery is very powerful, and you know it takes me back to looking at photos from like the civil rights marches, and you know, and like you know, and we just had, you know, Dr.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King's birthday yesterday, and it
Mm-hmm.
just you know, and it's I mean it got me thinking, you know, more like we're still dealing with this
Mm-hmm.
level of ignorance and hate,
Yeah.
you know, and it's just, can't we all just get along?
It's true. It's really true, and I
Yeah,
love the point that you highlighted on this because it's important and it's something that we have to face. Those are factual things.
yeah,
You know? And yesterday, Bernice King, which is Dr. Martin Luther King's daughter, did say, you know, on her Twitter, she said, you know, it's a nice thing, basically, in a nutshell. It's a nice thing to watch people every year around the commemoration of his birthday, because yesterday was not his birthday, but
mm-hmm.
that's what the government says, you know,
Right,
and stuff. So everybody's posting quotes about that, right? You know, referencing him, which is great. But she says, please remember that nobody liked my father. Okay, my father was assassinated.
yeah,
Please remember. Okay, he was not loved. Okay,
yeah,
and that right there resonated
yeah,
with
yeah,
100%, because that's the truth. Okay, he was assassinated. He was
yeah,
not. He was a target for people.
yeah, yeah,
And made sure they tear him down.
yeah.
All right. So with that being said, you know, let's not be oblivious to what is so. Okay.
Right. No, absolutely, absolutely.
We
Yeah,
can't. Let's
yeah,
not be oblivious. Okay.
yeah. Well, it like also goes back to like people think, oh well, if it's illegal, it's bad. If it's legal, it must be good. The Holocaust was brought about through legal actions. You know, slavery was legal. Just because something is legal doesn't mean it is also moral, and doesn't
Yep.
you know, and that's where I think that even today, and that people have a hard time differentiating between legality and morality, you know, and they need to take a better look at not just the world around them but themselves, you
Yes.
know, to be like, okay, am I going to sit down and be okay with this because, well, this is legal, you know, or are you going to listen to yourself and know, like inside, this isn't right. Something has to be done about this. We need to make this illegal. We need to get our constituents and our representatives in office to make, you know, those kind of actions, you know. And yeah, I saw that what you were talking about, you know, the CIA assassinated
Absolutely.
him, you know, and we need to make people aware that, you know, just because certain things were legal doesn't mean that they were right. Just because you know, and I get very emotional. I get very fired up about this too, because it gets to me as well, and I can't imagine what it's like to be an African American in this country. I can't. I'm white. I will never have the experience of someone who is African American in this country. I will never have those same experiences, but I know from my own life and being friends with diverse people that everybody has a struggle, but it's different in many ways. You know, and the first, I guess for myself, I was like 25, and me and a friend of mine, we were traveling from the Midwest out to California, and he's an African American male, and we were in Missouri. I decided to lean back and take a nap. From Missouri all the way till we reached California, we were pulled over in every state that he was driving in. Every time he was driving, I flipped out in Texas because I was asleep, and we got pulled over by Texas Highway Patrol. I didn't notice that. I just noticed the car stopped, and I didn't sit up yet. And I hear the officer walk up and go, "There's a white guy in here," and I shot up and like, "Yeah, there's a fucking white guy in here. What the fuck is wrong with you guys?" I got out of and I got out of the car. I was like, "Why'd you pull him over? Why'd you pull him over? Tell me why you pulled him over right now." And they're like, "Oh, the back tag is partially covered." I walked to the back of the car and said, "Show me where it's covered. Show me. You can clearly see the entire tag there." I was like, "No, you pulled him over because he's a black man driving in Texas, and you guys thought you could harass him." I was like, "You need to apologize to him and get your supervisor out here." And they were in shock. But I believe if you don't stand up to injustice when you see it, you know, the complacency of good men is still evil, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely, 100%, 100%.
But yeah, it gets me fired up talking about injustice and stuff like that.
let me acknowledge we have Crown Queen Bonnets, that's Queen Ariana, that's with us, and we have Queen Princess Frida, who joined us. Welcome aboard. At this note right here, at this time, 10:14, we're going to have to end this interview. Okay, it's been so fabulous. Although I don't want to end it, but by all means, all good things must come to an end.
True.
Gary Dankdaze, thank you so much for sharing everything with us. I mean, everything to the point that we don't even know what else to say. I mean, we connected so well. This interview was so bomb, so awesome. Everybody was just so hyped, and you dropped a lot of information. We got very much aware of the cannabis industry, your knowledge about community, government, politics. I mean, you name it, human services, YouTube. I mean, we can go on and on. You know, Twitch. You know, thank you so much for being who you are. Seriously.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And same to you.
Thank you. Super multi-talented. You know, it's definitely a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you. Thank
As
you.
I open the floor to everybody, I always say, feel free to let me know when you want to come back, give us an update as to how things are going with you in a couple of months, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and we could take
I
it
look forward. I look forward to
there.
it.
It'll be another 2 hour interview probably. But then again, thank you everyone for participating and supporting Gary Dankdaze and his endeavors. His goals and plans are real, people. If you're not following Gary, I suggest you do so because he got it going on. Okay? He got it going on. So on
Excellent.
that note, I'm gonna say good night and thank you so much for such an awesome evening, Gary.
Thank you for having me once again. I appreciate it.
All right, take care. Have a good one, everybody.
You too.
All
Bye.
right.